Hi friends, my name is Haley Comet and welcome to my cosmic corner of the internet where we discuss all things astrology. And today, North Node, also known as Dragon's Head, is moving into a new sector of the sky, giving us a new ravenous hunger for a different component of our lives, a new opportunity for soul growth if we propel ourselves into it. The North Node Cancer story is ending. It has been ongoing for a year and a half. And on May 5th, 2020, the North Node moves into Gemini. Let's wrap up North Node in Cancer. I'll describe North Node in Gemini, and then I'll take it rising sign by rising sign so you can know where in your chart you have this enormous potential for growth, opportunity, and soul development. With the North Node story in Cancer, it was about creating a life on the inside that felt as good as it looked on the outside. South Node was moving out of Capricorn. Capricorn is about big business, our professional world, whereas Cancer is about our private internal world, our home, our family, our emotional state. So with this North Node hunger, it created this voracious need within our lives to feel emotionally connected to who we are, to feel more tied to the patterns, the phases of our world, to have this really concrete, nurturing experience of home. Many people became mothers during this transit or had to take on more of a nurturing role. Many people left their 9-to-5, their corporate job, described by Capricorn, to dive into something more soul-fulfilling, nurturing, described by Cancer. So with this access, it was a letting go of the outside world, of how things look, of what's expected of us, and diving into our internal, more private world. I mean, look at how we ended this transit. The outside world was literally, taken away from us. So with the North Node moving into Gemini, a new story is emerging. A story about curiosity, about trying new things. Whenever North Node moves into a sign, the South Node also does. So with North Node moving into Gemini, South Node moves into Sagittarius, Gemini's opposite. So we're going into this hunger of Gemini-like themes, which is connecting, networking, being a little social butterfly, learning as much as possible, being really open to different people's perspective. The shadow side of Sagittarius, which is the South Node, something we're meant to be letting go of, is this really rigid commitment to a belief system, even if it doesn't serve us, or feeling like we are the authority on the matter and that's that. Gemini is asking us to lean into new things, to letting go of what no longer serves, being open to every single person you come across as a potential teacher, even if they're not, super high up in academia. What would happen if you looked at every opportunity within your life and every person as an opportunity for soul growth? Stay open during this transit. Fixed, rigid ways of doing things will not work. Even your kind of decision making, you could, be really fixated, but with Mercury as the North Node ruler, I want you to be open to getting ideas and being open to change, being open to feedback from other people. Like, okay, let's work together on this. Rather than me being rigid in my own way, what can I learn from you to propel this project forward? With that being said, though you should be open to different ways of doing it, also know that Gemini has a habit of being very distracted. So this opportunity could be a chance to refine your focus, to really see something out to the end, and to fight this urge of being needlessly distracted. Can you be open, be expansive to other people while still making positive steps forward? With Mercury highlighted here, we are moving into a more discerning space, into our more mental space. Moon, we were leading, which was the North Node Cancer ruler, was leading from a very emotional, intuitive space, leaning into what felt good, into where we felt nurtured. Mercury is what makes sense. Where can I learn? How can I grow? It's almost taking this kind of objective look at things and staying a little, open to it rather than being emotionally connected. Well, this isn't really working, even though it was my baby and I don't really feel the same way about it. How can I shift gears and try a different approach? Because Gemini is open to different approaches. The ruler of the South Node that we're moving away from is Jupiter. So it could be a beautiful time of shedding belief systems that no longer work for you. You could have been really committed to a religion with it in Sagittarius, and now you're realizing, you know, this doesn't really serve me for where I'm moving forward. Sagittarius also describes travel. So perhaps letting go of this notion of, you know, wisdom learning is out there. Gemini is like, no, it's right here. You can learn by walking down the street. You can learn from talking to your neighbors. You don't need to go into a college campus. You don't need to go to Bali to find yourself and to explore and to open yourself up. So letting go of this Jupiterian need of, you know, expansion is out there, and just looking in your own backyard, looking in your circles for opportunity to grow. You also might find that you have to let go of traditional academia. You're just like, you know what, this is not where I want to be. I'm going to learn a trade instead. I'm going to stay open and get the certification. Gemini requires you to stay open, let go of rigidity, let go of, well, I think it's this, and be open to, what do you think it is? So I'm going to take you sign by sign to describe where you will have this voracious need to dive into. I'm going to start with Gemini Rising because all eyes are on you, friends. So with Gemini Rising, North Node is going into your ascendant. And with this energy, it is voracious. It is hungry. It won't stop. And I know that sounds intense. So while it is a good thing, it can definitely go to extremes. With it in first house, you could find that you are being thrust into the spotlight, that you are getting a lot more attention on you, that you have to be more kind of out in the open from other people, that you can't trust and rely on people that you thought you knew. During this transit, you might find you have to let go of a long-term business partner, or you have to let go of a close companion to dive more into first house, which is you, yourself, and you. Diving into what does it mean to be independent? What does it mean to take care of myself? There could also be a voracious need or hunger to be out in the spotlight, to do things on your own. You could get more into your style, your appearance, and have a voracious need to be seen as someone who's very aesthetically pleasing to other people. Cancer Rising, all eyes were on you during the North Node in your first house transit when North Node was in Cancer. It made you get a lot more attention. And now with North Node in the 12th house, you might find that that attention kind of evaporates, or maybe your hunger for it does. 12th house is what's hidden, what's beneath the surface. So you could have a hunger for much more time alone. Perhaps it was forced upon you, but you have this almost curious, since it's in Gemini, desire to try new things, to fill yourself up. Maybe it's a new meditation practice or some sort of NLP, I believe it's what it's called, like subconscious work, because 12th house is what's beneath the surface. So it could be a beautiful time of going into your closet and kind of permanently making peace with the skeletons that live within there from your past. It could be a time of escapism or substance abuse problems being kind of brought to the surface so you can dive into it. You may get much more hungry in creating a lasting change on this world, wanting to give back, wanting to be part of charity, or being open to different organizations within Gemini so you can be able to give back. With that, South Node is coming out of your 6th house, so you might need to let go of some, job or some element of your job that you had been accustomed to. And it could be just kind of not prioritizing the kind of busy day-to-day life, instead choosing to really honor what's beneath the surface. How is my subconscious processes ruling my life? How am I using my past trauma and my past baggage to make excuses for why I can't go where I want to go launching forward? You could find just a lot less energy, just not as motivated to go out and chase things, and that's fine, Cancer Risings. I want to tell you, because this is a time you can get really, really clear on your spirit, your soul, what's beneath the surface, so that when in a year and a half, when North Node moves into 11th house, you're ready to be out there, you're ready to network. This is a time of diving into what's beneath the surface and staying open to different spiritual tasks and different sort of charitable tasks, that you can kind of connect to this idea that your life is more than just you. This can be a really isolating time, but it can also be a very spiritually nourishing time, Cancer Rising. So I want you to take advantage of the solitude, because solitude means being full of spirit, and not be tied into the isolation, because people might not be around you. It might not be as busy around you, but it doesn't mean it can't be a totally full, soul nourishing time. Leo rising, North Node is going into your 11th house. So this is a time of prioritizing networking, of really looking around at your circles and saying, are these the people who are going to fit for where I want life to take me next? Is this the organization that I want to build moving forward? This can be a very, very really powerful time for you to be curious about people and to expand your networks to an umpteenth degree. I mean, seriously, this year and a half, I mean, I know it's hard because we're in quarantine right now, but maybe it's jumping on to like Zoom happy hours, penciling in at least like one networking opportunity a week. If you have like a business, getting more comfortable with being kind of in front of it. So maybe doing, film stuff. I started to talk in front of a camera during my North Node 11th house because there's suddenly a hunger to kind of connect with the groups and the friends that I wanted to reach. So perhaps that's you all of a sudden wanting to be, more out there and connect with more people. Beautiful time to ramp up your social media or your social media presence. It can be an amazing time to join a club. With it in Gemini, maybe it's like a book club or like a professional development club. Stay open, socialize. With South Node out of 5th house, this isn't a time of just doing things for yourself. 5th house is about self-expression. It's like not really your house, but it's a Leo-like house, right? It's entertainment and fun. And this isn't really a time for that because the people that you meet now can really launch you forward. So don't skirt it around just doing 5th house things, which is just casually dating and just creating, for no reason. Collaborate with people, connect with people. It's not just about you. Virgo rising, North Node is going into your 10th house of career. And with there is a voracious hunger for your legacy and where you want to take things. You might find that you want to be much more public in your career, that you want to be in front of people, that you have a voracious hunger to succeed, for this to be your legacy. Wherever your career takes place, I want you to dive into it wholeheartedly. This year and a half, you'll find that you have more motivation to build these things than you have before. And with this is pointing at your midheaven, right? Which is the most public part of your chart. And since you do have a Gemini midheaven, or most Virgo risings do, this could be building more than one thing at once. You're Virgo rising, so Mercury's already your ruling planet. So you're good at, being a little bit duplicitous, doing things more than one thing at a time. So it could be building your side project and building your career and just having such a hunger and a passion that really feeds you. You could receive accolades. You could receive validation that you have not received up to this point. So I really want you to take advantage and dive in wholeheartedly. South Node comes out of your 4th house. You might find you have to let go of some aspect of home. I'm not saying you have to sell your house, but you might need to let go of being home as much because you're so hungry and like going after this dream. You could have to let go of, caring for a family member, or you could have to let go of a more kind of nurturing space in order to dive into, this is my big shot. Seriously, Virgo risings, I want you to think of this year and a half as, this is my big shot. Let me give this my all, because that voracious dragon's head hunger can really launch you forward in creating your destiny and your legacy. Libra rising, your North Node is going into your 9th house of travel, of spirituality, and you could find, it could be like maybe after this quarantine, you're just like, I'm not satisfied. This life isn't doing it for me. I need to go out and learn more, do more, get more out of life. So I really want you to use this year and a half of, where do I find meaning and how can I extract meaning? Maybe you find that meaning by deciding to go back and get your degree. You want to show up to work and you want to find meaning when you get there, and you think that getting that nursing degree will allow you to do that. Or maybe it's this quarantine period made you realize, I haven't traveled and that really bothers me. And packing it all up and traveling for like 3 months in order to extract more meaning from life. Maybe it's going on a personal spiritual journey, studying from people, trying to extract meaning. Whatever it is, I want you to use this year and a half to find a deeper connection to life, to realize it's not just the here and now. This energy is really supporting you in, well, what else is there? What can I explore? South Node is coming out of your 3rd house. So this isn't a time of really hands-on skills, learning how to work with cars and things like that. This is a time about broader, more abstract knowledge. So, you've always had an interest in art history, and that's what makes you feel alive and connected. dive into that fully. You might need to let go of, you know, some kind of, third house is our kind of immediate surroundings. So you might need to, you know, not be kicking it with your neighbors all the time, and you might need to move away from your sibling, or, you know, say goodbye, seriously, from the world that you knew as you knew it, to go on this adventure. Ninth house transits always feel like kind of a journey. So I want you to lean into that journey with gusto and with openness with energy in Gemini. Scorpio rising, North Node is going into your 8th house. This could be a time, Scorpio, that you find that you're not really able to fully take care of yourself in ways that you could before. With South Node coming out of 2nd house, you could find that your income, you know, you took a pay cut, or it could be that you just receive a new stream of income or a new stream of support where you no longer need to work as hard. Or you could just find you're not as interested in, you know, going out and making all these sales calls and making as much as possible and leaning more into 8th house themes. With South Node, it's coming out of the area of money for you. So you could just find it's either not an interest or it's just not available for you at the time being. With North Node going into 8th house, this is about merging with other people. So perhaps it's, you know, your sales ability at this time isn't that great, but like your partner all of a sudden is way outselling you, and it's a time of really leaning on your partner and maybe adjusting yourself so you can accommodate them more. Maybe your spouse's income takes a significant boost and you're able to lean on their income and their support a lot more. Or it could be, you know, someone with 8th house that also rules how we merge with the divine, death. It could be a time of you just contemplating life and being like, I hate my job and I'm gonna die one day, and this isn't serving me, so I need to, you know, find something different for myself. It could be like coming to terms with your own mortality and realizing, I don't want to just make money. I want to find meaning and live. So it also could just be a time of kind of looking at, you know, death, what's deeper in life, and finding more kind of meaning and purpose in your life, being open to merging with other people, being open to this idea of surrender. 2nd house is like, I go out and I earn it and it's mine. 8th house is like free fall energy, right? So it might feel like a year and a half where you're like, I don't know what I am and I don't know where I'm going. But by the end of it, you're gonna be like, and that's okay. It's like a leap of faith. But then at the end, teaching you this amazing lesson of trust in the universe, trust in your partner, trust in your spouse, trust. Surrender, it'll all be okay. Sagittarius rising, North Node is going into your 7th house. So this is a time of illuminating relationships of all kinds. So you might find that you don't want to do things alone anymore with South Node coming out of 1st house, or perhaps you don't feel as equipped and you really need to lean on other people in order to do things better for you. It could be like asking your partner like, hey, I don't know why, but I have not been able to, you know, land one thing. Can you help out more at house? And then them being able to step up. It's about learning to ask for help and being okay with relying on people and knowing you don't have to go through life alone. If you are single, this could be a time of really voraciously searching for a partner, someone who kind of completes you in ways. Because you might find with South Node in the 1st house, you might just not feel as comfortable, as confident, or as, you know, powerful as you normally do. So it's really a juicy time of leaning on other people and seeing how they can pick up the slack for where you yourself might not feel like you can perform. But it's also a time of leaning into business partners, friendships, looking at the one-to-one connections in your life and noticing, does this nourish me or does this drain me? Diving more into the relationships that nourish you, as well as being open to watering those relationships that maybe are newer, but learning how much of our lives are the sum of the people that we interact with, and the power in that, Sagittarius rising. You don't need to do things by yourself, and North Node in your opposite sign, Gemini, is teaching you how can you be curious about the world around you and let go of this notion that everything you do needs to be done by you. Capricorn rising, North Node is going into your 6th house of day-to-day, pets, service, health. So this could be a time of really getting super busy, right? Really having a lot more to handle in your day-to-day. It could be a time where you're like, I really have not been paying attention to what I'm eating, and that needs to change. I need to become more prioritized about it and having a ravenous desire for it. It could be a time in exercise. You're just like, oh my gosh, I've got to get a schedule that works for me. I've got to get a routine that works for me. I need to do Pilates and then work. You're already pretty disciplined, but this is a time of really expanding. Where can I be more disciplined? Where can I take my day-to-day as a micro expression of what I want in the macro? How can I break down my health goals, my work goals, my errand goals, and make sure that I live it out every day? Be disciplined about, showing up every day. You could find with South Node coming out 12th house, you have to help a lot more people, like your friends and family. There might just always kind of be like a crisis situation. You always have to like step up and like be helping. You don't really get a lot of time off really with North Node in 6th house because you're learning how to take care of your day-to-day and how to be a responsible human, not only for yourself, but for the people around you. With North Node in 6th house, you also could get a pet. So if you wanted like a cat or kitten or something, it could be something that you've always been curious about. Like, I always wanted a bearded dragon. It's in Gemini. So be curious, be open, and know that every time we add something to our day-to-day, we have to maintain it. So you're learning how to maintain. And at the end of this transit, you'll have a really rock solid routine in place that supports your health, that supports your work, your tasks, and things like that. You could also have to take on more tasks at work, as it is the area of our working, not of our career. So you might find that you just have to work longer hours. It's a very responsible transit, Capricorn risings, but I know you guys can handle it because you're very responsible. Aquarius rising, lucky you, North Node's going into your 5th house. So this is a really fun house. This is about entertainment and creativity. This is about prioritizing what just makes us feel alive in life and being open to that with it in Gemini. 5th house is also romantic dating. So you could find that you're just like really channeling this Gemini social butterfly energy of you're not my type, but let me give it a go because I'm open. And you can learn a lot if you stay open and treat each of kind of the dates that you go on as a potential opportunity to learn something. Even if you're in a committed relationship, what would it look like to infuse that kind of flirty spirit into your relationships, to be curious about that person, even if you know them really well, to kind of go back to what it was like to first date them and bring back that spirit of flirtiness and banter and questions in a very Gemini-like way. Also the house of children. So if you have been wanting to conceive, it's a time of ravenously being really focused upon that. Or if you already have children, it could be a time of dedicating way more time to them. Maybe they just need more attention and like they're going off to school or something and you've got to get all their affairs in order. If you are a creative, beautiful time to dive into your creativity wholeheartedly, to give it your all. With South Node 11th house, you as Aquarians, you're always comfortable with breaking the mold, but really let go of the opinions of others. Really, if there are friendships that are not serving you, really snip them out. You might find even during this transit that certain relationships are like dragged from you, even whether it's like you decide to, or maybe they move away or something like that, but you might find that you're just not as available, for your friends and for your groups, that you're more into just kind of juicy, fun experiences, painting, creativity, dive into something fun. Let life be fun again. Be open with the energy in Gemini. Pisces rising, North Node is going into your 4th house, which is home, emotional state, family. This could be a time that you are ravenously hungry for real estate or to kind of fix up your home. All of a sudden, kind of more private matters become more important to you. You want a home and you go out and you are open, like you aren't fixed on one neighborhood that you need to live in, because Gemini, you got to be open. Or you could, go to lots of networking events to find the right realtor, whatever it is. Keeping the spirit of staying open to the journey if you are pursuing a property. It could also be a time of, really nourishing the family relationships that you have in your life. You could also get ravenously hungry. Where did I come from? What are my roots? Who are my ancestors? And doing a deep dive into those sectors of life. It could also be a time of learning really extreme self-care with North Node and 4th house really prioritizing what can I give myself that makes me feel stable and rooted so I can give to the rest of the world. I say that because 4th house is kind of like the base of the chart, right? And it's our internal private world. So you are becoming much more hungry about home expansion, or about trying something new with your home, or about renovating your home, or about prioritizing your family members, or learning how to take care of you. With that being said, you might need to let go of some dream you thought you had, or a career you thought would be right, or just letting work take a back seat and just being like, I have other priorities this year and a half. You might just experience a lack of motivation, or it could be as extreme as like it feeling ripped from you. But just be open. Not every transit lasts forever, and this is a juicy opportunity to get your foundation right, Pisces, because you're pretty emotional, so allowing yourself to really find that grounding will allow you to build up with a lot more strength and allow you to unleash your magic to this world. Aries rising, North Node is going into your third house of immediate surroundings, neighborhood, and communication. So this could be a time that you finally are like, you know what, I've dreamed about having a blog for so long, and this is the time I finally want to put it out there. I want to put my thoughts, my words out there. You could get much more into social media or want, prioritize kind of getting those micro messages out there. You could be a lot more curious. You want all the certifications. You want to get all these new skills under your belt. With it ruling your immediate surroundings, you might find kind of a lack of kind of glamour abroad, and that's just not your priority at the time being. This is a time to be curious about your immediate surroundings, about your siblings. Third house is also siblings, so you could prioritize and nurture those relationships that you have in your life. You could also just be much more into reading, much more into kind of building up your mental bandwidth so you have more to communicate about. You could, be more into like Toastmasters or public speaking or something of the nature that allows you to be kind of more out there and express yourself and kind of have that banter with other individuals and be open to the people that you might come across who have been maybe like living right next to you and you never took the time to talk to them, but then you learn so much. Really lean into the spirit of curiosity and openness, Aries, and don't get fixated on, happiness is out there, adventure is out there. What if adventure is right here? Taurus rising, North Node is going into your second house, which gives you a ravenous need for money or desire for money, hunger for money. All of a sudden, you might find that your earning potential feels like it skyrockets. Like you're learning that, hey, the actions that I take have really powerful ramifications on my net worth. It could be a time of building a side income stream or building a business where you're just so motivated by kind of the monetary results that you're putting it all in. This is really a time to lean into it because you could be in a vastly different financial position than you were at the beginning of it. So really look at your finances, review, clip out things that are unnecessary, and then look at your time and notice how you can try different approaches to maximize earning potential within your life. You could also become more ravenously into, beautiful things, you Taurus risings, and want to acquire more things. I would just say, just be mindful of not getting into kind of a materialistic space, because with South Node coming out of 8th house, you might just find like, you're not that interested in more occult things or merging things or intimacy. You are so fixated on, I've got to make money, I've got to make quota, I've got to get out there, that you could like let go of, relationships or spirituality or things like that mean a lot to you. So maximize your earning potential. Definitely go out there. If you want the new car, you've earned it. If that's what motivates you, that's totally fine. But I don't want you to miss out on everything. When Gemini is North Node leader, it's about not being rigid, about staying open. So stay open to more than one income stream with North Node in Gemini, because it is the twins, right? And be open to different approaches, being open to asking for feedback in order to enhance your income potential. And even if you're not working right now, it could be a time of just going through your budget and just noticing much more ways that you could be much more efficient with your money or allow it to go further, or trying a new budgeting system that allows you to get closer to your financial goals. This is a year and a half of diving into it wholeheartedly. So friends, what are you excited about leaning into with this North Node journey? Comment below. If you could like and subscribe, it really helps me so much. Until we meet again, drink lots of water, stay cosmic.